When I first heard those words, they didn't even sound real. I remember standing by the kitchen counter, my hands still wet from rinsing rice, as my neighbor whispered them to me like a confession. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. The sound of the tap running became a dull roar in my ears. My stepson? And my daughter? No, it couldn't be. But sometimes life doesn't ask for your permission before it shatters the walls you built around love and family. I married Fahad 12 years ago. I was 39, a widow, with a 10-year-old daughter named Aisha. He was 42, a quiet, soft-spoken man who had a 9-year-old son, Zain, from his first marriage. When we blended our families, people warned me, stepmothers never win. Someone will always feel left out. But I was determined to prove them wrong. Our home was small but warm, a single-story house with faded cream walls, a squeaky front gate, and a kitchen that always smelled of cardamom and fried onions. I would wake up before everyone else, boil tea, and listen to the faint snores from both rooms, my daughter's soft hum, and Zane's restless shifting in bed. Zane was a shy boy at first. He barely looked me in the eye. His mother had passed away when he was little, and I knew my presence reminded him of a void he never filled. So I didn't force my way in. I let time do its quiet work. I made his favorite dishes, remembered his test dates, and tucked a small chocolate in his school bag every Friday. Gradually, he began to soften, first with smiles, then small conversations, and eventually hugs. When he called me Ammi for the first time, I cried in silence that night. It wasn't just a word, it was trust, fragile and pure. And for years, that trust was the heartbeat of our home. Fahad was a good man, though his work as a regional manager kept him away most of the week. That meant I was the bridge between two growing children who, over time, began to feel like twins, fighting, laughing, sharing secrets. Aisha was bright and stubborn. Zain was calm and protective. He helped her with math. She teased him about his handwriting. On Eid, they decorated the house together. On winter nights, I'd find them on the terrace, wrapped in blankets, whispering and laughing at the stars. I remember thinking how lucky I am that they love each other like real siblings. Maybe that's why I missed the signs later, because when love wears the face of family, betrayal hides easily behind it. By the time Aisha turned 21 and Zain was 22, life seemed beautifully ordinary. Fahad's health had started to decline. Nothing serious, just the quiet exhaustion that comes with age. I was working part-time at a local school, and both kids were in university. They were inseparable. Zain would pick her up from classes, and she'd help him with his internship applications. They'd sit for hours in the living room, headphones in, laughing at something on their phones. Once, my sister, Farzana, jokingly said, "You better be careful, those two look more like a young couple than siblings." I laughed it off, maybe a bit too quickly. Don't be ridiculous. They grew up together. But that sentence, "they grew up together," began to echo in my head for months after. The first clue came one evening when I walked into Aisha's room without knocking. She was sitting on the floor with her phone pressed to her ear, whispering, "Okay, I love you too." When she saw me, she jumped. "Ammi, you scared me. Who were you talking to?" I asked casually. "No one," she said too fast. Just my friend Sana." I smiled and nodded, pretending to believe her, but her hands trembled slightly as she tucked her phone away. That night, while folding laundry, I saw her phone screen light up with a message. "Zain, miss you already." The words burned into me. I wanted to believe it was innocent, maybe an inside joke, a silly message between siblings, but deep down, something cold and heavy settled in my chest. Days turned into weeks. I watched them more carefully now. The way they exchanged glances at dinner, the quiet smiles that seemed too private, too tender. Zain had started dressing better, wearing cologne more often. Aisha's laughter grew softer, almost secretive. One night, while Fahad was asleep, I sat by the window staring at the dim streetlights. I tried to tell myself I was overthinking. After all, I raised them together. They knew right from wrong. But sometimes denial isn't protection. It's blindness wrapped in hope. The storm finally broke 2 months later. I had gone to visit my sister in Lahore for 3 days. When I came back, the house was quiet, too quiet. Aisha's room was empty, her closet half cleared. When I asked Zain, his face went pale. "Ammi, Aisha went to a friend's house for a few days," without telling me? He avoided my eyes. She tried calling you. Maybe you didn't pick up. But I had no missed calls. Something inside me shifted that day. The kind of shift you can't undo. 2 weeks later, my neighbor Mrs. Khalid came over for tea. She was the kind of woman who always had news before the news itself. She stirred her cup slowly, glanced at me, and said, "You didn't tell me there was a wedding in your family." I frowned. "What wedding?" She hesitated. "Your Aisha and Zain. My cousin's daughter works at the registrar's office. She said they came last week. They got married, quietly." The world tilted. I remember gripping the edge of the table to keep from falling. My teacup slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor, splashing brown stains across the tiles. For a long time, I just stood there, frozen, hearing nothing but the hum of the ceiling fan. My stepson and my daughter together in secret? I don't remember how long I stood there after Mrs. Khalid left. Time folded in on itself. My heart was pounding so loudly that it drowned out everything else, even the clock ticking on the wall. When I finally moved, it was as if I wasn't inside my body anymore. I just walked slowly to Zane's room. He was sitting on the edge of his bed, phone in hand, his leg bouncing nervously. He looked up and froze when he saw me. "Ammi," he said quietly, voice trembling. "Where is she?" I asked. His lips parted, but no words came. "Where is Aisha?" I repeated, louder this time. My voice broke halfway through her name. He stood, took a hesitant step toward me, then stopped. "Ammi, please, let me explain." "Explain?" I whispered. "Explain what, Zane? That you two went behind our backs? That you took your sister?" I couldn't even say the word. My throat closed around it. "She's not my sister," he said sharply, then softened. "Not by blood. We grew up together, yes, but we always felt something different. I fought it, Ammi. We both did, for years, but we couldn't deny it anymore." I stared at him in disbelief. "You were a child when you came into my home," I said slowly. "I held your hand on your first day at school. I taught you to pray. I stayed up nights when you had fever. Tears blurred my vision. And now you tell me you've married my daughter as if it's nothing?" He took another step closer. "We didn't mean to hurt you. We couldn't tell you. We knew you'd never understand." "Never understand?" I said bitterly. "You mean I'd never approve of something so wrong?" He flinched, his eyes glistening. "Ammi, we love each other. We didn't plan it this way." I turned away, unable to look at him. The air between us felt thick, poisoned by betrayal. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every corner of the house whispered memories. The living room where they used to laugh, the kitchen where I made them parathas, the terrace where I thought they were just watching stars. All those moments I had found sweet now felt tainted. When Fahad woke up in the morning, he found me sitting at the dining table, still wearing the same clothes. My eyes must have told him everything, so he didn't ask a single question. Not at first. "What happened?" he finally whispered. I told him. Every word felt like